The Wizard's Beloved. Written and read by Michael Versitulis. The day came when the wizard Auralan grew tired of the world of men, and so he sailed to the lands where the elves and the children of the dead god and all those peoples of old dreams still hold dominion. He traveled to the brilliant cities of Valelthana and explored the deep forests of Vol-An-Sinavan and meditated in the stern tomb temples of Ethalmur where the dead god is still worshipped. And for a time there was wonder and joy, and the breaking within him seemed to sweetly fade. Yet wonder is a beautiful veil that hides the filth beneath, and soon Auralan saw behind the beauty the emptiness that had plagued him in the world of men. And lonely darkness grasped his heart once more, and so the wizard who once did quest for wonder now roamed the land aimlessly, like a lost wind that knows no direction. In this manner his purposeless wanderings carried on, until he came upon the tower. He had journeyed through the deep forests of Vol-An-Sinavan, coming ever closer to the fairy meadows, which the old elves of the kingdom of the forest hold most sacred. Yet no guardians had come to meet his sacrilegious approaching, for the wise fairies had sensed no danger or ill intent from this broken man. And near the border of the sacred meadows he found the tower, an old lonely thing made of ancient stone, standing forlorn by a small lake. It was in this relinquished relic that he would build his worlds of wonder. For months Auralan worked his magic on the tower, forcing bound summoned creatures to repair and rebuild. From the beautiful elven cities he brought things most delicate to furnish and decorate. And what the cities of Vol-An-Sinavan could not provide, he conjured up with his mastery of the craft, building small worlds of illusion here and there. In the end, the old tower had truly become the wizard's home, and Auralan rested happily. For years the lonely wizard worked his wonders in his tower. He conjured up beauty and weaved worlds of marvel, and so fantastic were the creations of Auralan that even the fairies approached the tower on full moon nights to see the wondrous hermit perform his eerie rites that made spirits dance hovering over the dark waters of the lake under light of moon and stars. Yet all this would not last, for the mighty god's test and change would knock on the door of the lonely tower. 3 women came to the tower's door. The first was the Goblin Princess Bezukan, who had come to Vol-An-Sinavan to seek the aid of the old elves in her people's wars against the depraved dwarves who had been enslaving the goblins for millennia. But the elves of the kingdom of the forest care only about their sacred fairies, and thus Bezukan had to return with despair and disappointment. But on her journey back, she came upon the tower. She had hoped to find an ally, but instead she found a man she loved and who loved her. Inner pain had bonded together the wizard and the Goblin Princess, and so they found comfort in each other's arms. Yet soon that comfort turned into grey sleep and the peaceful silence of the grave. The tower decayed, and the wondrous little worlds of illusion Auralan had built started to fade. And so he sent her away with a most heavy heart. And before he could rebuild the wonders of the tower, a fairy came to the wizard's door. She was all flame and passion, and Aurellan let her in, for he could feel her fire burning inside of him. For a while she made him feel alive, but soon her fire consumed him and madness grasped his mind. And then she left, leaving him in maddened despair. Slowly Aurellan regained his sanity, but before he could rebuild, another came to the door of the tower. Her hair had the gold of the sun, and her eyes the sapphires of the sea. She was a witch of the wilds, her soul broken by the wonders she had seen and created, yet still emanating a deep scent of beauty. And when he was with her, when he touched her and smelled her hair, when he was inside her, he could feel the darkness recede and the harsh touch of solitude soften. And then she left in the deep dark night, leaving only a note with a promise that soon she would explain, a promise he knew she would never keep. And so the wizard sank into the devouring waters of solitary despair. Days passed, and Aurellan rose from his dark lethargy. His heart had become as obsidian, black but of crystalline structure. He could feel neither joy nor meaning, but function came to him with ease. He rebuilt all the broken little worlds within his tower, but none of it touched his soul anymore, only perhaps the certainty that he was doing something well. And so the wizard spent his days in a kingdom of meaningless beauty, his kingdom. One cold grey morning, Aurellan walked by the side of his cherished lake. There he could let the breeze caress him with sweet memories of yonder meaning. But something pulled him out of his nostalgic reverie. On the lake shore lay the corpse of a drowned woman. She was slightly blue and bloated, but still beautiful. Her skin was pale, and her hair silver gold, and her limbs and figure most delicate. Beneath her torn ethereal nightgown, she was naked and perfect. And upon her sight an idea struck the wizard's mind with the might of the hammer of revelation. He took her into his arms and brought her to the tower. There he cleaned her and prepared her and brought her to the ritual chamber. He summoned a beautiful spirit that had once visited him in dreams. He bound it to his will and forced it into her. And finally her eyelids opened, revealing eyes of beautiful autumn sky grey, and she rose. She is perfect, his beloved. She always beholds him with adoring eyes and brings to him only joy. And she is there, always, in any way he wants her. They live in bliss, a bliss no one can poison. For the vile creatures of the horrid outside are held back by the walls Aurellan has now erected, and the world of the tower stands forever incorruptible. He is now king of an unconquerable land, and his beloved loves and pleasures and praises him. And the wizard is happy behind his walls of control.